After you've put your first name, last name, and class period, then we're going to start over here in the far left side, and we're just going to draw a line going all the way across. That'll give you something to draw, to write upon. So I'm going to take my ruler. I'm going to draw a line going somewhere across at the top, but enough room to write. We're going to write the word charcoal, and then 6B, 5B, 4B, 3B, 2B, B, HB, 2H, 3H, 4H, and 5H, and even a 6H. Those are the levels of the drawing pencils. You're only going to be receiving 3 because those are going to be the essential ones. The ones that you're going to be receiving is the 2H, the 6B, and the 4B. We're going to be showing off what these can do by creating a value scale. What a value scale is basically from the dark point to the light point. In doing this, we're going to use a scrap piece of paper to lay down onto what we're working on, so that whenever you draw, wherever you set your hand, it's not going to smear the work that you have done. Ideally, you would start with 6B, then 4B, and then your 2H. That's going to allow you to work from left to right and kind of help you keep from smearing it. But it's good practice to use a piece of paper. Whenever we get to the point when we are creating something that looks like this, we want to keep it nice and clean, and so we'll always put a nice clean piece of paper to rest our hand on so that we're not smearing the work that we've already created. When we are creating this value scale, you don't want to start off by just pressing straight up and down, pressing hard. That's going to leave a lot of indentions into your paper. You want to kind of turn your pencil on its side. You can hold it differently. The way I hold my pencil is by kind of letting the pencil just relax in my hand and then just putting my thumb on it. That gets it at a nice angle, but long as it's not straight up and down and you've got an angle on it. We're going to start off by adding some pressure, but most of the darkness that you're going to achieve is going to be from layering. Yes, pressure is going to help, and I do need to make it go from a harder pressure to a lighter pressure to the lightest pressure, and then a little past halfway down, I'm not going to color anymore, because a little past halfway down, I'm going to use a blending stump to drag out what little color is left down here. And that's going to be really helpful when you're using your 6B pencil to drag out that color. I'll show you what that looks like in a second. Right now, I'm going to just keep layering on a decent amount of pressure up here at the top, and then getting lighter and lighter, continuing that process. You don't want it to be noticeable where you've changed pressure. And you don't want it to be noticeable where all of your pencil strokes are, where your marks are, what direction you were coloring. So I kind of color in a bit of a circle. Also, keeping it on its side helps that as well. You'll notice that even up here at the very top where I press really hard, it's not going to be nearly as dark as the 6B. Your 6B pencils are going to be the darkest, other than the charcoal. Charcoal will be darker. And your 6H will be the lightest, so it goes from dark to light. Your HB, right in the middle, is a regular pencil. So there's no point in me buying you an HB pencil, because you'll notice, if I can get it in focus right here, a regular pencil is a number 2 HB pencil. If you have a mechanical pencil, they can vary. Most of them are pretty close to an HB, but they can definitely vary from darkness to lightnesses as well. You'll also notice that the H is a harder lead. It's harder, so it's going to leave indentions and marks in your paper easier than the 6B will. The 6B is a much softer lead, and it's a darker lead, but it's also softer, so it doesn't leave quite the indentions that the H pencils will. So now I've kind of gone from a dark to a medium to about as light as I can get it. The next thing I want to do is I want to take my blending stump and I am going to take it and clean it, because right now, if I was to color with it, it's leaving some marks. Mine's not actually that dirty, but yours might be from previous students. The way you clean it is sandpaper. You don't ever sharpen one of these, although it looks like it's sharpened. What you do is you take it at an angle, whatever angle it already is, and you just slide it against sandpaper, and that sands off all of the charcoal or graphite that is on it. That way, whenever you go to color, it doesn't leave a mark. I'm going to start down here at the lightest point, and I'm going to drag that lightest drawing or coloring that I did, that lightest shading, and I'm going to drag that light shading down to the bottom of the page so that it's incredibly light, and it's also blending these things as well. If you need a blending stump, they're in the middle on the cutting board right now, as well as the sandpaper. So once you get to the point where you've kind of got it to where it's about as blended as you can get it using just the pencil, then you'll go get a blending stump and you'll kind of blend it in and then drag it down towards the bottom, letting it fade away. You're going to do that with all three of your pencils, the 6B, the 4B, and the 2H. We're not going to worry about the other ones right now. We're going to leave them blank. We're definitely going to be coming back and doing the charcoal in the next couple of weeks, but we'll see if we come back and do the others. But it's good to know that there are ones in between, but it's such a slight difference that I think these three pencils are going to do most of the work for us. So go ahead and do that. And then the next thing that we'll be doing when we finish this is we'll be looking at how to showcase these value scales and these blending techniques that we've created.